What's happening, y'all, and welcome. This is episode 117. 117, the super flashy Arrow of Tomorrow. I am your host, Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. T Money, a.k.a. Sweet T, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. the HNIC. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Mara, the Shark Watkins.
Hello, Sir Travis. And
How's it
everyone. It's all right. It is what day is today? It's day 73. Day 73.
Okay.
And it's also, I'm also 28 and 4 months today.
28 and 4 months.
Yeah. I just happen to know it's today's the 27th. That's why.
I see. Random fact, I heard they're actually officially reopening Disney World in July. So,
Yeah, with face mask and
Yeah.
temperature checks, and they're replacing the meet and greets and the fireworks, I think the parade. And I'm just like, so what's the point of going to Disney?
That's why I say, so I'll see you next year. It's just
Right.
I'm not going in there for that bullshit. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Disney World and their whatever the fuck they doing right now. Because
I mean, if we were a Marvel show, if we were talking about Marvel stuff, this kind of would have been relevant, but not really.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because they don't have anything Marvel in Disney World. They can't.
No, I'm just saying.
Because they can't, because they sold all those rights to Universal. So all the theme park shit is in Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. They can't have any other Marvel park or anything on this side of the Mississippi River.
You're right.
It's awful. Sucks for you, because they can do it at Disneyland. That's the one thing Disneyland has the world doesn't. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about the Arrowverse on the CW. That'd be Supergirl, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, formerly Arrow, Batwoman, Black Lightning, and now Stargirl. Possibly Swamp Thing in the future. Who knows? You all right over there?
Yeah. Don't remind me. It's just so much. And I was, before they had said Swamp Thing was coming, I was coming to terms with, I was like, okay, maybe I just won't watch Swamp Thing since it only got one season, or I'll just get to it when I get to it. Now if they add it in, it's kind of like, damn, now I need to watch this.
But it's also one of those things, it's kind of weird having them do that on a show that, if you subscribe to DC Universe, you've seen it all already, or if you watched it, because both of us subscribe to DC Universe, but we haven't seen it because just neither one of us had any desire to watch Swamp Thing yet. But it's also you say it so much, but honestly, in the fall, that'll be the only show. So it's not like they'll be overwhelming us at the time. Now in January, when everything comes back at once, then we're
I'm gonna be so upset because I'm gonna be trying to plan my birthday and then also trying to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, we're just gonna be mad every week.
We gonna start 2021 mad? I don't want to start 2021 mad.
Yeah. Agents of S.T.R.I.P.E. comes back tonight, though. Final season.
I would say that's not done. Oh, that show finished.
This is the final season. So yeah, that'll be it. That's the thing. Agents of S.T.R.I.P.E. found their groove. It was pretty good. First season was, but
I'm still in the second season.
Once, Winter Soldier happened and S.H.I.E.L.D. got flipped on his head, like, oh, this is interesting now. Anyway, once again, not what we're talking about. Let's get back to the Arrowverse. So, we got Stargirl and Legends this week, and that's it. So we got the penultimate episode of this season for Legends of Tomorrow, and then the second episode of Stargirl. So it's like the exact opposites.
Well, it means we're getting closer to only covering one show.
Mm-hmm. So where would you like to start?
Let's just go in order. Let's just start with Stargirl.
About to say what's order because I definitely watched it on DC Universe. So I don't know what time they came on. Gotcha.
Well, Stargirl is on Mondays.
Is it?
Yeah, it came on Monday.
I know it came on DC Universe on Monday, but I thought it came on TV on Tuesday.
I mean, that wouldn't make sense because it would just take away from their views on television.
Now I gotta look. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I'm almost positive last week when I watched it, they came on back to back.
No, last week it came out on Tuesday. It replaced Flash.
Mm-hmm.
But this week it came out Monday. It aired Monday.
Interesting. Hold on. Let me look for next
week. Which makes sense because she's dressed up and it was Memorial Day.
Yeah, I can give you that. Let's see.
But then again, it also makes logic that they wouldn't come on Monday because it's Memorial Day. But it did air on the 25th.
Okay, yeah. Next week it's airing on Tuesday. I guess it was just special this week.
I'm telling you, it was because it was Memorial Day. I'm guaranteeing it.
I mean, I believe you. I was just, I just had to look. Just curious. So, this episode of Stargirl was called what?
S.T.R.I.P.E. S.T.R.I.P.E.
Yes, and that would be the
Pat's pet name.
Yeah, the name that she gave Pat. Because S.T.R.I.P.E. just, that was lame. So she's like, we're gonna do something else about that. We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll call you Stripes.
Yeah. Well, just Stripe, I think. It wasn't Stripes.
I feel like Stripe is weird. I've never. Hey, get me that one stripe.
Yeah, it could be because car could have a racing stripe on it. So single stripes are a thing. It's just not as common.
It's just weird to hear. It's like kind of like, what is the word that everyone gets so confused? Where it's like if it's plural, ostrich. Like when people get confused about how you pluralize ostrich, like is it pluralized with ES or is it just ostrich? And I was like, I'm pretty sure there was an ES at the end.
Yes, ostriches.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, like maybe it's not ostrich. There's like an animal that people have a hard time for some reason pluralizing because I've seen it come up several times. Mm-hmm. Where it's like that. I can't think of which one it is though. I'll figure it out eventually. Maybe it's not an animal. It's a name of something that just has a hard time being pluralized. I just gotta figure out what it is.
Okay. But anyway, I will see how it'd be a problem here though, because it makes sense for her because she's Stargirl, so you want stars and stripes, but he's just Stripe. So it's just like that's weird. But anyway.
Stargirl and Stripe.
Anyway, back to this shit. So this episode kicks off with right after last week's episode ended with her face to face with Pat and his robot, and she is just not okay with this. She's like, what the fuck is this? Get the fuck away from me.
She had no issue with a glowing stick that flies, but all of a sudden,
I mean, that freaked out at first too. But then all of a sudden, this giant robot shows up, and it's just she ain't know. She just got attacked by some dude who was throwing tires at her with his mind. So my thing is, once you just got attacked, I get it, but she was not having it, and he had to convince her, like, yo, I'm here to help you. We cool. He's like, all right, climb up on my back and we gonna take off, and they take off. Now, it's interesting to me how he was able to do all that. Anyway, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, there's a lot with this particular episode that I have questions about, continuity-wise. But, but as they get away, we see that this particular villain, whose name you find out later is Brainwave, has her school ID. It's all burnt up and shit, so he can't see it clearly. Can't really tell exactly who she is, but he has the ID.
He just knows blonde hair.
Yeah. Some blonde-haired white girl is, walking around with Starman's staff. So they go to this, to his garage, I guess it is, and she's still talking to the staff. You know, they trying to come to terms with some shit, and she just got to tell the staff to chill for a minute so she can get her shit together. We find out Pat built this robot himself out of spare car parts after Starman died, just in case, you know, the world needed him, I guess. This is when we find out that this villain's name is Brainwave. We see they're still arguing about whether or not Starman is her father, because Pat just still can't understand the fact that maybe he used a fake name. He's just.
I was like, I feel like there's too many points of evidence for Pat to really keep being like, Starman's not your dad. Like,
yeah, and it's just like, has he not actually looked at the locket yet? Like, it's just
right. I was like, we're not gonna share that piece of evidence because it's pretty.
Because she tried to show it to him before and he just didn't look. So it's just like, has he still just not looked at it? Is she still just, did she just give up? Like, fuck it.
And my thing is like, does he really not believe that?
Yeah, or is he just,
her dad,
yeah.
or is he really just playing dumb
to try to protect her? Yeah.
Because if it's the latter, in all honesty, this shit's so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'd rather him stop playing dumb.
So then they're like, she's asking questions. She's like, yo, why is this dude here? There's no way this is a coincidence. And they don't have an answer. Like, yeah, we gonna find out why. Then we cut to this, random family who we think is a random family at first. And they're like, yo, somebody's in the house. The son went up in the parents' bedroom to tell them. And I'm just like, dude, you didn't even knock. What if they was like, what if you walked in and your mom was face down, ass up, and you just, you saw something you wasn't ready for? You gotta knock, man. Like, just courtesy. I'm telling you,
Why
man.
Would you ever go? Why would you ever go?
Because you don't want to walk in and see something you don't want to see. Even if you are just going to open the door, still knock first.
I guess.
I mean, would you want to walk in and you see, mama ass in there and your dad got his face like in there like this and shit, just.
Well, no, not my parents.
Exactly. So he don't want to see his parents like that either. So he need to knock. But anyway.
You know what's funny? I thought that was Brainwave at first, and I was like, it's another clean cut white dude, and I was just like,
all white people look alike. I get it.
And then, so I started writing down their names and stuff as they started mentioning them, and I was like, oh, okay. And they all have generic white names.
Yeah. They, you didn't try it all here, but
right. William, Henry, Jordan. Well, maybe not Jordan, but
Jordan's
William, Henry.
Yeah. But the father goes down to check. We find out this dude is a senator. Did you get his name? What's his name?
That is William.
Yeah, William.
I don't know his costume fake name.
Yeah, I don't either. He's William the senator. So he goes downstairs to check on some shit. But first he stops and opens up this hidden safe, and he has some kind of magic wand and shit, because I guess he graduated from Hogwarts. And he that's the extent of the Harry Potter knowledge that Travis has. And he goes downstairs, and Brainwave is down there waiting for him. So that's when we find out, I guess, this dude is another villain. And they mention that there's this thing they got going on they're working on called Project New America. And that doesn't sound very MAGA at all. And then we see...
You know what would be really crazy, and I'm pretty sure it's not. You know what would be really crazy if Berlanti deep down was a MAGA supporter? Because remember how I've been saying the past couple of years, ever since election year, I've been saying so many themes from the political world keep sneaking into these shows.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's I'm just what if deep down Berlanti's really just trying to show us how he really feels about it.
Well, the thing is, with a lot of that stuff, though, he clearly takes a side, and it's not on the MAGA side.
Yeah, so, I know. I'm being funny.
I know. I hear you, though. I hear you.
That would break my whole heart. I'd be like, bro.
It may be just one big misdirection.
It's like finding out, like, Stan Lee might have possibly called someone the N-word sometime in the past.
I refuse to even consider that ever happened. So, if they can give me video evidence, I'm like, no, he didn't.
That's a lie.
Made that up.
I'd be like, what you're not showing me on the other side of the camera is someone holding a gun to his wife's head. That's what you're not showing.
Exactly. So
you ain't about to fool me today, Satan.
So then we cut back to Pat and Courtney talking, and we find out that basically what was happening, the only one that really survived besides himself was Our Man. After this, Justice Society got like fucked up by the Injustice Society. And he was like following their trail for a while, Our Man, that is. And yeah, he ended up dying though. It didn't work out for him. So he did.
He's super dead.
Yeah.
So Hawkman's not in this one, right? Am I thinking of a different Justice
I don't
group?
think so, but he might be. I haven't looked at that picture. I gotta look at that picture.
Yeah, I'm only asking because like
because there's a Flash in the Justice Society, so it's just Jay Garrett was in the Justice Society. If you look at that picture, he's in that picture. I saw him, but I didn't look for Hawkman. I don't know.
Right, and the only reason I asked is because I get myself a little confused because I had recently started finishing season 10 of Smallville, and like the end of season 9 had touched on I think theirs is called JLA.
That's the Justice League of America.
I think.
That's different. That's a different thing.
I know it's a Justice something, but Hawkman was in it.
Yeah, he was in the Justice League. He was in the Justice League. Yeah. So maybe the Justice League and the Justice Society were two different things. Justice League is the one where all the stars that we know,
But like is the Justice Society the one that was part of Haywood's back?
Yeah. In Legends, the one they went back and like damn near like killed them all on accident.
Yeah. So because like I was trying to figure out, I was like, where does this tie in together? Because I know on some level it's gonna have to tie in something. So I was just trying to figure out for continuity reasons.
So when Courtney meets Nate one day, because her father was, in the Justice Society with Nate's father.
They can have a little powwow about that.
It will. It'll happen. Just wait on it. So anyway, Courtney comes to the decision like, I do need a mask, to protect, my identity and the people I care about and all that shit, blah, blah. Typical superhero shit. They end up arguing about it for a while, but then she just leaves because fuck this, I ain't listening to you because, I'm a dumbass teenager and I know everything. Let's see. We got Pat, he's looking through some old files, mostly stuff about brainwave. And he's just like, we got to do something. So next day he starts practicing and working with his robot. There's a whole lot of trial and error going on. Typical montage of fucking up, getting shit right kind of thing. We saw this like 10 years ago on Iron Man, I mean, it's true. They basically just did Iron Man again. Only difference was, only difference was instead of like figuring out how to make himself fly with his hands, he was figuring out how to shoot his fist. Like it was the same shit. Same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Same
it's like a cute little montage of him just trying to figure shit out with the robot. I was just like, okay, Pat. Yeah. You could just go to the gym instead, but all right.
Well, he eventually does.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next day, well, I don't know how long this montage goes across. I'm guessing it was over 1 day or 2 days or whatever. But they both show up at the, at the breakfast table. They both got like scars and shit on their face. Yeah, and they're like, what happened to you? And they both claim they fell down the basement stairs. And they're like,
hey, in their defense, because she was like, you both fell down the basement stairs? I was like, bitch, you've seen both of us go down these stairs. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not inaccurate for us to go to the basement. And if clearly two of us have tripped, clearly the problem is the stairs.
There's a problem with the stairs. But then Pat says, I fixed it already. So it's just like, You killed that excuse already. Now, what if it happens again? What are you gonna say now?
Right. I was just like, all right, Pat, Pat's like that dude who tries to act like he's not a narc, but then accidentally does too much, which gives away that he's a narc.
Yeah, narc's on himself.
Yeah. It's not like I'm a police officer undercover looking for drugs at this school, you guys.
Exactly. So
Friends,
then,
compadres.
after all that's over, Courtney ends up going down to the basement, and she's like, let me look around here and find Starman's suit. And she decides, take this, and we'll see what she does with it later. She starts altering it, but we'll get to that. But
And then that's also my thing. Why are you carrying the man's suit around?
What you mean?
Why is Pat carrying around his suit?
Well, he's not carrying it. He just kept it. Like, he kept the staff.
Well, I thought he was keeping the staff safe. I thought that was literally what he was doing.
Well, yeah, but also, Starman was, that was his best friend, so he held on to it, So just like, this is like, I'm remembering my boy,
Okay, you're right. I'm still thinking, like, why wouldn't you bury the man with his suit?
Because you want to, just have something to remember him by, and the staff you saw was alive, so he could just leave one day. So it's just, you don't know. So anyway, the high school asshole is back. And do we have his name yet? Do you know?
The kid?
Yeah.
No, this week he was Dickwad.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, actually, I think his name is Henry.
Oh,
okay. I believe Brainwave's son is named after him. Because I remember when a little bit later on, which we'll get to, that girl from the school, the black girl who was talking with her family at
having lunch with her parents via Skype, having a Zoom lunch meeting with her parents.
Who she just better never. Also modern schools don't let you do all that in school. But anywho,
man, you don't know what they do in Blue Valley, all right?
You're right. I don't know what modern day schools are. I've been out of school for 15 years now.
Out of high school? Has it been that long, Mar? It hasn't been that long since you graduated from high school. That's not how math works.
Well, since I've started high school, it's been like...
Yeah, but you haven't been out of school that long. You got out of high school when you were 18, Mar.
I got out of high school when I was 17, actually. Okay, so it's been 11 years. 11 years this June. But whichever. What was I saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when they were talking about the open house, the girl Beth, her mom, said, I assume you and Henry will be at the open house. But Brainwave's name is also Henry. So this is why I keep writing their names down. And
good catch. I'm glad you do, because I'm not doing that. I will literally call them my descriptive names from forever. So
I'm like putting like their name, and then I put like their code name next to it, like Henry Brainwave.
Mm-hmm.
William is now some kind of wizard.
Yeah, see, to me, now I know his name is Henry, so I'll probably remember later. But for now, in my notes, he's just high school asshole still. So it's just...
I'll just keep changing something derogatory every week. This week was Dickwad, because I said his dad was being a dick to him.
And so he's the Dickwad.
Yep.
Because he came out of his dad's dick. Oh, that's good.
Anyway. I didn't even think of it that deep, but great. Thank you for taking it there.
Oh, man.
That made it better.
Accidental genius is still genius. So, anyway, he's like stealing money from his father's wallet. And then like one of their like in-house housekeepers or maids or whatever you want to call them, she sees him do it and he just sends her away. Like, I don't know, tells her he wants like French toast or some shit. I don't know what he said. But he sent her away, like basically saying, keep your fucking mouth shut. But then Big Henry starts asking Little Henry, because both their names Henry, you said, questions about what happened to the car.
Yep.
And he's just like, oh, it was a dude, a girl wouldn't do that to me, blah, 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 trying to...
I wouldn't let that happen there, man.
Yeah. But then,
Shut up.
he starts using his mind powers on him. And he's like, yo, you gonna tell me the motherfucking truth, because I can read your mind. He ain't say I can read your mind, but he's just like, yo, I know you lying to me, so tell me the truth. And he ends up telling him what, like, I can't really tell, but it might have been a girl, I don't know. And then he's just like, all right.
Might have been a dude with long hair.
Yeah. Then he's just like, all right, now, what am I thinking? Because he wants to see if his kid has the same powers as him, which I get. this is just not a very good way to do it. It's just, like you're just forcing him to like force it. And I feel like with you, it's kind of more of a natural thing. So you need to like let it just happen. Kind of put him in a situation where it will happen naturally, as opposed to telling him just do this.
I was thinking that later on. I was like, I wonder, will this kid have the same powers?
I think he will end up having them because I think they're setting it up to where
he becomes her nemesis.
Yeah, I think that's what they're kind of setting up here because he fucked up his father, and her father got fucked up by the Justice Society. Kind of a little synergy thing,
It kind of reminded me, for like a quick second, like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man when William Dafoe's Green Goblin, kicked the bucket, and then the friend picked up where he tried to pick up where he left.
Look, I'm gonna need you to get this straight. First of all, you're talking about Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin, and his son Harry Osborn.
Harry, there we go. I knew it was Osborn. It was just kind of like I couldn't get the name. Thank you. And Harry tried to pick up where he left off and tried to pick up Spider-Man and his thing. That's what it kind of reminded me of for like a quick, like I was like, oh, I could see it going there. But you get what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It just reminded me of that scenario of events. I'm sorry. This tequila's been sitting in the fridge for like a week. So yeah. I was like, this tequila's been sitting in the fridge for like a week. So it's
just been waiting. I got you. So after he's unsuccessful in, trying to read his mind, he's like, all right, well, just get the fuck up out my face, basically. And then tell him, like, yo, give my money back. You can't do that shit. Just give my money back.
You think Dickwad knows that his dad was a villain?
I don't think so.
Do you think Denise knows that her husband was a former villain?
Nope.
Okay. Denise, by the way, is William's wife. I got her name too.
I assume that was what you meant, but it's just, I don't think any of their significant others or families or anybody knows who they are. Because for one, this happened 10 years ago, and two, nobody knew who Starman was either. So,
clearly, not even his own sidekick clearly didn't know who he was either.
Yeah. So then we cut back to the high school, and Courtney's there. She's got, her shit. Well, she got her father's shit, and apparently their school just has like a fashion program or something because they just got a whole classroom full of sewing machines.
It's at home ec. They just have they have one of those old fashioned classes.
But they just got all those sewing machines in the home ec class though. That's how you get
It doesn't surprise me because remember what the stereotypical home ec class was teaching women how to be.
Yeah, but they also do cooking and all that kind of stuff too. It just doesn't seem. I just don't understand how they'd have that many sewing machines. That's all. But I
would like to think that they don't keep them on the desk. I feel like there was probably a class that had just probably wrapped up earlier, like last period. That would be my assumption.
That makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like, yo, it really did just look like she just walked in, like, yo, their school has a fashion program but no gymnastics team.
Hey, you'd be surprised. My first high school got rid of the volleyball team, but had a bowling team.
I'm trying to think of a justification for that, and I can't find one. Only thing I can think of is because they really don't have to. With bowling teams, I've seen it happen. A lot of times, the bowling teams, they have to pay for a lot of their own stuff. With volleyball teams, it's supposed to be stuff that's supposed to be for the school, through the school. Oh, they didn't pay for their own shit?
No, so the volleyball team, they said they didn't have one because there was no interest for it.
Oh, but you want to watch people bowl?
Right, which no one did. And it's funny because I did end up joining bowling because it was the only other sport I could do. Thankfully, I had an interest in bowling. But they would just pretty much, I think you paid a student involvement fee because it was a Catholic high school. So there was some kind of fee.
So there was you're talking about no interest as in people participating or people spectating?
For volleyball or bowling?
Yeah, volleyball.
volleyball was for participating.
Oh, I was about to say, when I was in high school, I went to very, very to a high number of volleyball games. Like I went a lot.
Oh yeah, no. It was literally for participation.
As a guy, I enjoyed the volleyball team.
I'm sure you did.
I did. An ex-girlfriend of mine was on the volleyball team, actually. And it's like, yeah.
But then they had
Shout
a
out to
bowling
Chloe.
team. She listened?
Probably
Chloe,
not.
I hope you listen.
Probably
Chloe, I hope
not.
you also subscribe to the Patreon.
Like she probably doesn't, but after we say this, I'll probably like let her know. Like I'll hit her up on Facebook or something if she's still on Facebook. I haven't like actually said a word to her in like damn near 15 years. But you know.
Hey, you were on my mind and you were mentioned in my podcast. You should give it a listen. If you have
I do know she got married a few years ago though.
You ain't asking her for coochie, you asking her for subscription and $5.
Well, never mind. Well, remind me afterwards to give you more details about who she married, but you know.
I'm cracking myself up. But yeah, so they had a bowling team, but we didn't really have people come out and watch us. But we went to like bowling alley, like we would practice at. There was 2 bowling alleys we would practice at. There was one by where old Yankee Stadium was, so across the street. And then there was another one.
Jeter.
And then there was another one that was like in another part of the Bronx. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I played bowling in high school as a team sport.
So anyway, she's working on the suit in this room, and she's like fucking up all the fucking equipment because you know it's just kind of what high schoolers can do. They just have no regard for other people's property. And she finally finishes. She just like does some sewing and breaks like 10 sewing machines, and then she just leaves and just like, oh well.
Yo, I was like, you just not gonna clean up? You just gonna leave it like that?
No. Zero respect. So also, we have this moment where the mother is just like, she's in a meeting with a bunch of folks and she's just getting completely shut down by her boss, who we later find out is also part of the Justice Society. Like, he's one of them too. So, yeah, that kind of explains why he's such an asshole. But then we got Pat showing up at that gym. And as we hinted at this earlier, because the overly aggressive gym guy is there and he's just doing overly aggressive gym guy stuff. Have you ever interacted with the overly aggressive gym guy?
I've had a trainer before, but he was not overly aggressive, but I feel like I know people who are overly aggressive in the gym.
I've met the overly aggressive gym guy, trainer guy person, and they're just like, you make me not want to come to your gym. Like, I need you to get up out my face and I'll, I got you. It's cool. But I need you to chill because you just like all up in here with it. Like, I need you to back up. Just, I don't like people in my space anyway. So
facts. Especially yelling at me about how my squat ain't perfect enough. Or
it wasn't even that. It's just talking about the way they are about like telling you about how you need to work out and shit before the workout even starts. And you're just like, bruh, back up.
You need to be like really on it, man.
Yeah, back up. So then, we get to Courtney at lunch and, one of the kids, what's the girl's name?
Beth.
The black girl. Beth. Is
I didn't catch the other girl's name. She just upset. She gonna be called emo girl.
Yeah, the one that they were calling a slut last week, right?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna call her that. So
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just put into context who she is. The one that they were trying to slut shame last week. So yeah, this girl though, she's having a fucking lunch Zoom meeting with her parents, and it's just.
She was like, "Let me bring Dad in," and her mom was just like, "Oh, baby, maybe we shouldn't do that." And then she did it anyway.
Too late. It's too late. She's doing it. This is the thing. It's happening. Just take it.
I was like, "Girl, your parents work. Stop that."
Yeah, whatever. That's what she said. So then we got the open house is happening because they mentioned that. We talked about that earlier. But we see this is when we find out that what's the senator's name?
William.
We find out William's a senator. Then we also find out that Blue Valley Tires is just like the shit around it. Like, that's what keeps this town running.
And well, I mean, it seems like your typical Midwestern town where it's like they have one big, what's the thing? Resource that is like their town's bread and butter, like that one factory.
Typical Midwestern town. How many Midwestern towns have you seen?
Well, 2, but I only remember 1.
So you don't really know. You're just making that up, huh?
Yep. I'm going based off of the knowledge of other shows I've watched that always talk about that one factory in town that supplies hundreds of thousands of jobs to everyone.
But I'm just
factory. No, I'm gonna go to college. I got dreams. You should work at the factory.
Just put it out there, like Chicago and like Detroit are also part of the Midwest. Just throwing that out there,
Oh no, I'm talking about like rural Midwest. I'm talking about like south of Chicago, but north of Texas, like that chunk of Midwest America. Like as soon as you cross into like Indiana,
St. Louis is in there too. Let's just it's just
not the big cities. I'm talking like
so Midwest, just not any of the places that matter in the Midwest. I got you.
Exactly. Where do you think Smallville is? Smallville is like hundreds of miles from Metropolis.
So we don't talk about Kansas around here, all right?
It's a basketball. A college.
No, I literally just made that up. I have no like.
Oh, okay. I was like, is this like a Kansas City thing? Like,
no. I have zero beef with Kansas. I was literally just saying that to fuck around.
I was gonna say, this a Mavericks kind of issue. Is that what the Mavericks are? No. Where are they?
About the basketball team?
I have no idea. That's why I thought it was.
That's in Dallas, nigga. Like.
I also don't watch basketball, so I'm just naming talent. I'm just naming.
Oh, we're gonna move on now because I don't think I want to be your friend anymore. I
just don't watch it as much anymore. I prefer going to the game. I won't watch it like on TV.
That doesn't keep you from knowing where the fucking Dallas Mavericks are.
I forgot where the Mavericks were.
Anyway, so we got Jim Dude at the fucking open house because Pat tries to eat a cookie and he takes it from him. I'm like, that's rude as fuck. I get it, but that's rude as fuck. So
it happens.
Yeah. So then we got Pat and Courtney, they talking, they kind of arguing a bit, but they're like, yo, we gotta find Brainwave. So they're looking around and Courtney finds Brainwave and she says Brainwave in her brain and he finds her and she's fucked.
It's more like Brainwave finds her. I was like, as soon as she realized that he heard her thinking, I was like, bitch, stop thinking. Literally.
Stop thinking. Really, Mara? Really, Mara? When you tell yourself to stop thinking, you know what that does? That makes you think more.
I was like, stop thinking so hard, Courtney. Just stop. Start thinking about like your favorite song or something.
I'm about to say, well, you don't tell yourself to stop thinking. You tell yourself to think about something else. You distract yourself, like you said, with a song. Like start reciting song lyrics in your head. What song do you know from front to back? And there was a time when I did do that, when I tried to distract myself. This was way back when. I knew every lyrics to the Men in Black song. And I used to sing that entire song in my head when I was trying to distract myself or pass time.
I'm pretty sure mine would be a Britney Spears song.
Which one? Is it Toxic?
Yeah.
Yo, did you hear, completely off the subject, who's it, Amy Weinstein, her version? Amy Winehouse.
I was like, whose last name is Weinstein? Oh, God.
Yeah. Wrong name. Sorry about that. Amy Winehouse. Did you hear her sing Toxic?
No, but now I need to.
You should. I'm pretty sure it was Amy Winehouse.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. No, I've heard that song. I'm like, yeah, kind of want to fuck now. But anyway,
she's very dead though.
Huh?
She's very dead though.
Well, she wasn't dead at the time I heard the song, Mara.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you heard it like recently.
No, this was a long time ago. This was like 08.
Oh, okay. I'm only saying that because it's not like I don't not listen to Toxic now in 2020.
Oh, I know. I'm talking about when I first heard the song.
Gotcha.
Not the first time I heard Britney Spears' version, but the first time I heard Amy Winehouse sing it.
Yeah. Toxic comes on shuffle. Oh, you best believe I'm not hitting skip.
Yeah.
But anywho.
So anyway,
stop thinking.
he sees her. He starts following her. They end up coming face to face, and he's like, "Yo, give me this motherfucking staff, or I'm gonna kill your mama."
Right, and it's not like I'm gonna stab your mama. It's like I'm gonna make her suffer from. I'm gonna make it look like she had a stroke.
Yeah,
so
I'm
she's
gonna
actually
fuck
gonna
up
hurt.
her brain, dog. Like
she's gonna hurt so bad, but no one will ever know other than a stroke. And I was just like, okay, that's pretty intense. And then when she was telling Pat about it, because when she tried to leave and take the staff to him, Pat was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, he will give my mom a stroke and he will make her feel it." And he was like, "That is a very real thing that he will do, and you should be scared." And I was like, "Nigga, I'm scared of anybody who can give me a stroke at just thinking about it."
Yeah, but he gotta say it because she crazy because you've seen she flies around on the staff. So
Cause I was literally just like, "Nigga, I'm scared too. Anyone who can do that, I'm scared of them."
She sleeps with her shoes on. So you got to make sure that she's straight in the head. So you got to ask these questions.
You would think she came from like a real crazy place, like a real crazy background, for her to be like, "I sleep with shoes on because I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
Anytime. If it's you put her and Curtis together, Curtis would just be sleeping in shoes with his hair already corn rolled, mask already drawn on. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go whenever.
You gotta believe, like when he goes to bed at night, he kind of like falls asleep braiding his own hair. Like,
yes.
Because all the stuff, all the emergencies happen in the middle of the night. So you think like every night he goes to bed, he just lay down and he just be.
It's like when you have like a really early shift, like you have like one of them like you work really early, like you got to get up at like 3:00, but you fell asleep at like, I guess 12 would be really late for you, and it's just like you get up at 3 and you like half awake trying to get yourself together, and it's just like, and then your partner goes, "Baby, you got to wake up." "Yeah, I'm up.
Yeah,
just sits there slumping in front of the mirror.
When you gotta be at work at 7 a.m. and you like, I gotta, oh fuck. And you realize you gotta stay up late. You gotta stay up late for some other reason, and it's just like, oh fuck y'all.
Oh man, just be horrible.
So anyway, Pat like basically tells Courtney like, "Yo, I'm gonna go alone." And he was like, "Yo, if I'm not back in the morning, I'm gonna need you like just take your mama and what's the little nigga's name? What's the boy's name?"
Don't know. That was the only name I did not catch. And honestly, okay. I didn't catch Barbara's name until like way later.
So anyway, he tells her, "I need you to take them and I need you to go and get out of town." And I'm just like, "Houseway." Like,
right. My thing was like,
how the fuck is she supposed to convince her mother to just leave town
without you?
Yeah, and let's just assume she tells them the truth.
Who says that they won't just lock her up?
Yeah, who's gonna believe her? What are you thinking, sir? Take a nap. Go sit down somewhere.
I was like, she is 15, not 22.
Exactly. Like, well,
I
just saw a thing. She just turned 21. I think I was wrong last week. She's young as fuck. She's over 18 because, legal reasons, family, children and shit. But she portrays a 15-year-old. But yeah.
Labor laws.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was just kind of like, I don't know how much persuasion power you think she got, but it ain't like that.
It's definitely not like that. So
my 15-year-old comes in and says, "Oh, we gotta go. You gotta leave Pat here." What?
Also, exactly. But also in this scene is where my first continuity problem comes in.
Okay.
All the scars on her face are gone. And I'm just like, where is the script supervisor? This is your job. This is your job.
Well, I kind of just went, like, I didn't really notice that, but I will choose to let it go with that. They might have tried to do time, like to portray time passing, with Pat's testing of the robot.
That would make sense. That would make sense if in a later scene they didn't show her again and the scars were back.
Like after the fight?
Yeah. Yes.
They're not like new scars?
No, same scars in a later scene.
Okay.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Said that first, I wouldn't. See, if you said that first, I wouldn't.
We hadn't gotten to that part yet. That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't have made that point.
I was going to bring that up when we got to that part. I was like, oh, and a little fun note on this scene, the scars are back. So it's just,
okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
So I was like, I'd give them a pass for the montage because, like, we don't know how much.
We don't know how much time that was. I feel you.
And I feel like they were just like, oh, they won't notice the scars.
That's what I'm saying. I think that they were insulting my intelligence.
Yeah. You know what's funny? And this is like a quick side through, and I'll come and it'll be very quick. But like last night I was watching what is it? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen last night for the first time in I love it so much. It's such a good movie, and I wish they'd done more with it.
Bloody Quartermain.
And so I was watching the part with
fuck that movie's so good. I'm sorry.
I know. It's such a good movie because literally I was so captivated watching it. I hadn't watched it in probably years.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it forever either. I'm just thinking back on it. I'm just like, oh, I love that fucking movie.
Bro, it's on Hulu. That's where I was watching. It's on Hulu.
Next.
Commercial free and everything. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
But so what's his face? I forgot the dude who the invisible dude, right? So he's put so I'm realizing part of the movie, he covers his face, and I was like, okay, they did a good job of CGI for 2009 CGI of like keeping half of it.
Was that 09 or was it earlier than that?
It was either 08 or 09 because it popped up on Hulu because it was.
Okay, keep going.
But
Finish your story. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like he the back of his head is still invisible. So at one point they're in Nemo's car or his automobile, as he puts it out, and all of a sudden you see the Invisible Man. His entire head is covered in white.
That movie came out in 2003.
Oh wait, no, I watched another movie that was in 2000. Excuse me, but I did watch League. I watched like 2 movies yesterday. I'm an addict.
It's fine. I just found out that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is on HBO Max, so that's how my night's going. So,
but anywho, so in the car it was like all covered, and then you're back, and then when they were at Dorian Gray's place, it's back to the back of his head is invisible, and I was like, y'all not about to sit here and make me be like, oh yeah, he covered his whole skull in the car, and then the second we go into this nigga's house, all of a sudden his dome is gone.
Well, maybe like he covered it all and he leaned back on the seat, and like when he leaned back on the seat, it rubbed off.
That was the only thing I started thinking. That was the only thing I was like, that's like their only saving grace. But I was just like, it was too much gone for it to be like, yeah, that would make sense. Like I could understand like a small square patch.
Yeah, I know.
But like from like his ear back.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, so I'd have to see that again, but I believe you. So back to this though. So then Pat fires up his robot because he's like, I gotta go take care of this myself.
I'm gonna use my robot.
Yeah. So he goes out there, and then we got in this scene is when we have Courtney having to talk with her mama, and in this scene, the scars are back.
Yeah, that mom-daughter talking. I was just like,
Yeah. So Pat shows up to fight Brainwave. It doesn't go well. He's starting to get his ass kicked. It's just not working out for him at all. But Courtney suits up, and she's like, I'm going to help Pat. She shows up, and she swings in, and she's like, I'm Stargirl, and that's my sidekick. I'm just like,
that's my sidekick.
Like, oh, that's funny. Now you're still a sidekick. You still ain't shit.
You're a sidekick to a whole 15-year-old. Dan is like in his late 40s.
And you would think after his main hero dies, he'd rank up and become the main dude. But no. Now his daughter comes along and still keeps you as the sidekick.
It's like what's his face? It's like Bucky becoming Captain America and Captain just kind of coming back and be like, wait. No. It's like Bucky being Bucky supposedly thinking he's going up to Captain America, and then what's
Here
his
comes
face?
Sam.
Here comes Sam.
Oh, it's so, here's the thing. On one hand, I'm so glad they did that. But on the other hand, it was just like, I'd be pissed if I was Bucky. But in the comics, both have been Captain America. So it's just like.
Can I ask you one fictional question real quick? Because the argument of if Cap was ever, when Cap unfroze and he was like, saw people like, people all colors like blending together. So remember, Bucky's from the same time period. When Sam became Captain America, do you think he was ever just like, man, I still wish we were in the
40s? Well, that's assuming that Bucky was frozen that whole time. He wasn't. He saw all the, all the change and shit. And I don't think he cared. Like, I think he was so engineered to be like this spy killer kind of thing that as far as social things were concerned, he didn't give a shit. So I don't think he ever really had any concept of racism or anything like that because he didn't care. Because he just was, programmed to just be very robotic and calculated. So things like that probably didn't occur to him at all.
Okay. I don't know. I just felt like
now
that joke always makes me laugh.
Now Chris Evans, on the other hand, Cap himself,
he was like, "What is happening?"
But I say he wakes up in modern times, and he probably looks around like, who are all these darkies around here with all this power? And he's, I'm sure that threw him off at first.
Right. I'm sure he's like, I'm okay with this. I'm just unsettled because I'm not used to it.
Is he okay with it though? Is he?
I don't know. That's what I was saying. Like, it's a funny joke to think about, especially the times where he's put on like, a different face, like, haha, Hail Hydra, But I'm not gonna sit here and tarnish this man's memory. So the dog is acting weird for all of our listeners. Or Travis has ghosts, or both. I wish you guys could see his face. Oh, nope, it's the dogs. Unless he's very conscious of this ghost. Nope, it's the dogs. This face says it's the dogs.
Yeah, that was Jack. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. I had to make sure it wasn't Bear, because Bear was like, he was throwing up earlier because he keeps eating grass because he's a fucking dumbass. But, yeah. Yeah, Jack is just down there being weird. I'm sorry. I had to make sure my parents' dog wasn't dying right in front of me, so,
if he dies on your watch, they tend to not invite you back.
They don't have to invite me for me to show up. So anyway, we also back to Stargirl. She's in this fight and she accidentally fucks up the high school sign in the process. Then like he does some brain shit to her. She's about to die. Her ear starts bleeding.
You realize that their blood is too bright red. It looks like red water paint.
That's a ratings thing. Like the more realistic the blood looks, the more strong the rating has to be. It's that's all part of it.
Because when he was trying to blow up Pat's brain and Pat had like blood all over his forehead, I was just like, he's gonna put red food down on his face. That's what we're gonna do. He's gonna put red food down on his face.
Yeah.
He's gonna question my intelligence.
Yeah. So then Pat just turns on this bright red light because this bright light to distract Brainwave because he's got Courtney down. Also in this whole thing, just to point this out, the staff was out of reach. She couldn't reach the staff, but somehow after this bright light happens, the staff is magically back in reach.
The staff just kind of shuffled itself over.
But the staff doesn't move like that.
The staff flies.
Exactly. So if it could have done that, why did it do that in the first fucking place?
I don't know. Maybe the staff was hurt.
That's my point. That's my point. There's a lack of continuity going on. That's my only problem with this show. So
she gets the together. Staff. This show seems very, very last minute thrown together.
So they use this distracts Brainwave enough to where she's able to grab the staff. She like gets him in the face with it with some cosmic shit, and now he's all fucked up.
She like poked him in the forehead and like turned his brain to mush.
Basically. So now he's in a coma. Like they say he had a seizure in the hospital. They think that's what happened to him. After this, they have a talk, and Pat's like, yo, I don't know what the staff really is. Starman didn't build it. He said this dude named Ted Knight built it. And I'm like, yo, that's a story for another time. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. No, it's not.
Right?
Like she's asking you about the staff right now. So tell her about the goddamn staff.
Because if you know who this Ted Knight is, answer all her questions. Jeez, why are you trying to do this over time?
God forbid, you give her useful information. So then Courtney's like, yo, I got to get revenge for the motherfuckers who killed my father. And then she gives him the name S.T.R.I.P.E. after he goes through this whole thing about how he can't do it. Now he's just not useful and all that kind of shit. I forgot what S.T.R.I.P.E. was supposed to stand for, but
it's something with, I know the P is Pat.
Yeah. Then we got this dude who enters this secret underground lair. We find out this is Jordan, which is the person who actually killed Courtney's father.
With the groovy intro music.
Yeah. Courtney's mom's boss is in that area, also in that underground lair. He also comes.
Also evil.
Yeah, so we find out that's when he's also part of the Injustice Society. But on the way in, Jordan, he comes face to face or just kind of passes by this little container or prison space that holds Solomon Grundy. Like, there's Grundy. He ain't go nowhere. And then we go down and they're like, all right, let's do this shit. And they do their supervillain little stand around looking and shit. And that was Stargirl.
Well, I want to know more about the Injustice Society.
I do Iceman. As well. So, Mara, what I need you to do right now, though.
Yes.
I'll be right back. Just hold. Talk to people. Talk to people. I'll be right back.
I'm not that people friendly, but how's it going, guys? I figure while we're on this brief break, I'm assuming he's going to go potty. Let's just tune on in, slow on down. This is Slow Jams with Mara the Shark. It's not really, but what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the Facebook groups real quick. We got a couple of Facebook groups for those of you who are new to us, but our veteran listeners also know this as well. We have several Facebook pages. We have a Facebook page for Creatia, and that's facebook.com/thecreatiaworld. And there we have all of our general things. You'll see most of our broadcasts go on there first, and then they get shared into their respective groups. If you like this show, which I'm hoping you do because you sat through us talking for this long, you can join us on this group for more discussion at facebook.com/group/Creation Magazine. Travis is back and he's nodding. I assume he did not go potty. I think he just opened the door.
Yeah, I just had to go to the door. It's cool.
I told everyone that you had to go potty, and I'm sorry that I was wrong.
Nope. No worries. All right. So, Legends?
Yeah, let's get into it.
So this episode was called What?
The one where we're trapped on TV.
Now, Mara, let me just go ahead and tell you now. When I saw the previews for this week's episode, I did not expect to like this episode.
I did enjoy this.
And then I watched this episode, and I'm like, I like this episode. I was enjoying the fuck out of this episode, like no bullshit. So this whole thing, starts out with somebody typing some shit about Spartacus. But every time, the person mentioned anything about his rebellion or his fight and all that kind of stuff, it got rejected. And it's just like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? We find out that it's Mona.
It's funny because at first I was like, she let out an exasperation sound. And I was like, watch this be fucking Mona. It's Mona.
So yeah, it turns out that she, along with a lot of other people, are being forced to rewrite history so that nobody will have any notion of rebellion or free will. And in the midst of that,
Fates
somebody
took
starts
away free will.
Yeah, and somebody starts questioning that shit, and all of a sudden the Fates just cut their thread. It's like, oh, okay, that's the world we live in now. And afterwards she's just like, oh man, this is the world now, I guess. And then she's walking through she comes across Gary, and Gary's just like, yo, the world is wrong, something's up, like what the fuck.
Gary's that crazy dude with the sign like the end is near.
yeah, he's that
the world's
dude.
not all right.
Thing is, he doesn't remember what's wrong, he just feels like something is wrong.
Right.
And then we see like what they all eat. They all eat mush. There's different colors of mush, but it's all just mush.
I was like, this is what either Soviet Russia was like or what modern day NK looks like today. I'm not going to say their names out loud because we don't know who's watching or listening. And I don't feel like having my apartment like rated.
So anyway, we see that what's happening is the legends have all been put like on TV shows that are like used for propaganda and shit. The first one is Ultimate Buds, which is basically a Friends ripoff. Nate, Barat, and Zari are in it. But in
Nate
the midst
is clearly Joey.
I don't know any details about Friends, so you'd have to cover that part. But
I only know like the names and stuff like that, but I know who. I think I have an idea of who's been with who. I have never watched Friends from back to end. It's one of those shows I don't feel like I need to because everyone has watched it already and it's been over forever.
Mm-hmm. So apparently during all this, there's some shit going on, but Zari's like, oh, they do that first thing where they're like, oh, we don't touch that, but why not? And
oh yeah, the rune starts glowing, and of course Nate feels the need to touch it. And then Rune Zari, and then Rune Zari comes out and takes over sitcom Zari.
Yeah, so we get like old Zari, like last season Zari, and she's in charge. But she remembers everything, and during this whole thing, she mentions Mona's name. Well, Mona's watching the show, and
she's like, "What? Did they say my name?"
So then Zara's like, yo, we got to get the fuck up out of here. Like, what's on that wall? Pointing to the fourth wall. There's a door there. They open the door, pass through it. And they end up in this.
High Castle Abbey.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Downton Abbey.
Yeah. So, yeah, Constantine is in there. He's a butler. Only Zari knows who he is. The others don't know. Astra's there. She's, the daughter of, the estate owner or whatever.
Who is her mother?
Yeah, and her mother. And there's this whole thing. Apparently, her and Barat, as a premise to what's happening on the show, they're supposed to marry, and now they're starting to make eyes at each other and flirt and shit. But then we get Zara. She's trying to snap Constantine out of the shit. It doesn't really work, but he does do some little dark arts, mystical shit. Then
I won't lie. Astra's self-realization throughout the episode of like things that women could do, and I was just like, yo, this shit has me dying. Like, yeah. Astra was one of my favorite parts for a while.
Oh, my favorite one, we'll get to it when they go to the Star Trek shit. It's just like we'll talk about it. So Astra and Barat, they're still flirting, and then he drops a Destiny's Child line. A diva is a female version of a hustler. I'm like, did you really just quote Destiny's Child right now? Okay.
Yep. When she came out and she said, I am a diva. I was just like, girl, I'm weak. Yeah.
So Constantine, he still can't remember who he is, but he agrees to help them if they promise not to tell about his use of the dark arts.
You don't remember, but you can still use magic.
But yeah, outside the TV world, Mona goes and gets Gary like, yo, you were right, something's up. And they start watching together. Then Constantine, they transport them to Sarah with his magic. They try to trick him into linking up with them and them taking off. But this is the Star Trek ripoff. I forgot what they said the name of the show was. I just called it, Legend Star Trek. But
S.T.R.I.P.E, I think. It was something close. I know their ship was called the USS Front Rider.
Yeah. But in this show, it's like the ripoff of the original Star Trek. So Ava is Spock and Sarah is Captain Kirk. They encounter what they call
with the underlying homoerotic undertones.
Yeah. And they encounter what they called in the show Gromulans, which is supposed to be like a ripoff of the name Romulans from Star Trek, but they look a lot more like Klingons, which is weird they chose to do that. I'm like, you didn't watch Star Trek. But anyway, Sarah wants to blow him up, but then Ava convinced them, like, yo, let's talk to him first. And then Nate accidentally, shoots, missiles and shit at him. He's like, yo, why not? It won't work anyway. And yeah, the whole crew is destroyed. And but apparently they're all androids, so Ava don't give a shit.
Star Trek.
Okay. So yeah, but Ava don't give a shit because they're all androids, which is how I know this is definitely not Star Trek, because they give a damn about androids on Star Trek. Because one of the main characters on Star Trek: The Next Generation is Lieutenant Commander Data, an android. And the captain went to would go to the ends of the earth and back for Lieutenant Commander Data. Anyway, whatever, nigga. So Mona and Gary are they're watching, so yo, we got to go to the network and try to help. So they go to the where the network is. Meanwhile,
the Clotho Productions. I was like, oh, Charlie's probably keeping them safe this way, which turns out which what she was doing.
Yes, exactly what she was doing. So they, the crew who were, the Gromulans, transport Sarah and Ava onto their ship. And this is when Astor drops this line. It was like, it is grand to see lady adventurers in pantaloons.
She had me dying at that when they made that abomination ripoff of Mr. Roger.
We'll get there in just a second.
Mr. Parker. Who the fuck is Mr. Parker?
So then, Ava does some logical deduction and figures out pretty much exactly what's going on. Also, Mona and Gary, they see the threads that are connected to, this contraption that's controlling the TV shows. And this is when all the legends, except for Mick, who is still conspicuous by his absence.
You know what's crazy? Honestly, when they showed Mick, I hadn't even realized that I forgot all about him. I hate that they do this with Mick, because then when he comes on screen just gold, because his role here was gold.
It was. And the thing is, I expected to see him on the Star Trek shit, and I didn't see him there. I'm like, why isn't Mick there? This is where Mick should be. And then they come back to it, and that is where he was. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Right. So I was thinking just okay, all right, I get this. Okay. So I was just I forgot all about them. Even Wifey and Kiddo, Lita.
Mm-hmm. That was fun to see too. But then we click over, they're in Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac. Now, what's your beef in Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac?
Not the same as Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I don't like when people try to redo it.
Oh, that's your issue. That's all you got?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, I thought you had some some specifics there. But
No.
So then we got Zari. She makes a speech and all that.
I'm a 70s kid through and through.
Okay. So then we got this thing where Mona starts changing the script and she makes all the legends remember who they are. And when they do,
right.
We got the Nate and Zari, who is old Zari again, and oh shit, it's us. He's smooching and shit.
It's funny, because the first thing I thought when they made them remember, I was like, but what happens to Behrad?
And then he was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be dead."
And it's funny because like he had like a little spiral moment, and I started laughing. I was just like, "Oh, he's spiraling right now," because he was having like a self coming to Jesus moment, just like, "Oh my God, I'm supposed to be dead. What does this mean? I could go at any time." Oh my, like freaking out. Like, but I mean, I feel like that's how it would be if they realized.
Anybody, like, how do you really deal with that? You know,
I was dead.
So then we got Charlie comes in and she sees what Mona and Gary have done, and she's like, "Oh, what the fuck? God damn it! What are you doing?
Like, why are you trying to mess up my plan, people?"
Which really wasn't a plan. It was just a temporary contingency that became a permanent one. They put them in.
She was trying to make permanent.
Yeah, she put them in there to protect them from her sisters. She got them to agree to that. But she like starts to put everything back. She sends Sarah and Ava back to their ship. She makes they make like Zari and Barrett sing along with Mr. Parker, and then they send them back to a little friend set.
That was the most depressing song, like the most depressing kid song I've ever heard in my life.
Basically, everybody gets sent back to their shows.
Regress. I was just like,
yeah, regress and repress. Yes.
It was like, could you imagine like I had my therapy session this morning and then I watched that episode. Could you imagine the disconnect my brain went through listening to that with the sing-songy tune with it after just having therapy about not regressing? It's just like, do I regress and repress? Oh, it sounds so easy.
It sounds so pleasant.
Right. It sounds so much easier than being emotionally healthy.
Yeah. So then we get this point where Constantine is talking to Astra, and he's like, "Yo, I'll stay here if you want to stay here because your mother is here. This makes you happy." So
they are confusing me with Constantine's story just a little bit. Like, not like his story, but I guess kind of like where, like what he's actually, like what his end goal is.
He doesn't really have one. The whole thing really right now was him trying to make things right with Astra and her mother. So that's that's his main drive right now.
Which I get, because it feels like, I guess like with them teasing like him and Zari 2.0, I was just like, okay, maybe that's something different. But then I was like, okay, niggas is like,
I never gave that much credence.
Well, I mean, especially I don't know what they're gonna do now, because it was weird. They gave, I think, did they give both of them back, or just one at the end? The Zaris.
Oh, they're both there right now.
Oh, okay. Cause I was like, I feel like that's, well, even though Astra and Constantine come back anyway, I thought it was a very selfless act. I was just kind of like, when she was like, could John Constantine be so capable? I was like, yes. Man puts himself on a guilt trip for like a millennia. Like,
yeah, but he's also made very selfish decisions up to this point too. So
this is true.
So yeah, he's willing to stay with her to make her happy and stay in that shit, like do the whole Butler thing. This is when we find out that Charlie like put them all in there to, make a deal with his sisters and sort of leave them alone. But then, we got the point where they all start to make that decision, like, yo, this is not what we want. We need to go ahead and be ourselves again, because it starts with Ava talking about like, yo, we're always like fucking up and like always like so worried about what happens. Like, I saw you die, but in this world that never happens. We always win. And, they slowly all come to the realization that that's not what they want, because the goods and the bads put together are what makes life worth living and blah, 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 blah. However, if you put me in the Star Trek world and I always win in the Star Trek world, I'd probably stay in the Star Trek world.
I'm trying to think what kind of world, like what TV world would I want to be in? And I feel like you and probably everyone else on here assume I would say Supernatural. It's up there. It's literally like probably in like the top.
See, I'd probably guess Harry Potter before I guess Supernatural.
Well, all of the worlds I would probably pick, like that probably would be in like my top 3 to 5. I think are all like mythological, like supernatural kind of things. So like Supernatural's up there because they deal with so many different supernatural beings. So like I'm saying, like, and the only world I want to be in would really probably be Supernatural seasons 1 through 5, like the Eric Kripke world before his showrunner started changing. You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
before they defeated Satan.
Yeah, because 1 through 5 are the seasons of Supernatural that actually had me. All the seasons keep me on my toes, but at the same time, 1 through 5 is literally just kind of like, oh my god, what the fuck will happen?
Well, they told an actual story from 1 to 5.
Yes, and it was like a story that kind of followed into each other. It's kind of like 6 through 15. It's like, yeah, these things happened, but like they're not all contributing into what goes into next season. It's like, oh, this happened because someone else did this shit. Kind of like Power, how Power works. So you make one move, but someone else is like, nah, I'm gonna do this, and then it brings it around. But I
only saw the first 2 seasons of Power, but yeah.
Let it die on its sword.
Yeah, that's what I decided. I finished the second season, like, oh, no, I really don't like this. Never mind.
But yeah, I would want to be either in Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, Harry Potter. I feel like realistically, I'd only want to be in the Hunger Games if I was in one of the higher numbered districts. And let's be honest, I'm a Black woman from New York City in the urban areas. There's no way I'm making it to one of the higher.
Yeah, for me,
I'm gonna be in
District
11 through 13. One of those 3.
Yeah, you put me in. Like, for me, like, yo, you put me in Star Trek. Like, yo, you mean to tell me I'm captain or first officer on the Starship Enterprise, and we always win? Hell yeah, sign me up. Like, I will stay right here forever.
I'm kind of curious. I wonder where would you guys? What world
would work for you? Yeah, where would you want Charlie to put you?
Would you want to be in a Friends-esque sitcom world? Ooh, that would also work well with me. I'm not gonna lie, I would do really well in a sitcom because my life is a joke. My life is one sick joke, except for my loony. Sitcom world. Would you want to be in an adventure world? I feel like I just want to be in an adventure world because I live in the city, so it's kind of like city stuff. But like, if I could live in like a mystery, funny adventure world, I would be super happy.
So yeah, this is when Mick shows up though, and he's he's on this weird ship. He's basically, they made him like a parody of Khan, Wrath of Khan, and yeah. So there was that, and like Ava and Sarah basically like, yo, we're gonna let him attack us. We're gonna let him, destroy us. We're gonna lose on purpose. So Charlie has no choice but to save us. So they let themselves loose. So Charlie cancels their show. At the same time, Zari and all them got themselves canceled on the little Friends sitcom thing. So they got taken out, and all that shit happens. They're asked to realize they have to leave also. So Constantine does some little mystical dark art shit, got them transported out of there. So everybody's in the same spot. And Charlie's like, yo, I need you all to just accept this shit. Like, I'm trying to keep you all alive. And I'm like, yo, that's not what we want. We don't want to live that way.
Accept your fate. And I was just like, oh, Charlie, you're so misguided right now. I get what she's doing. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Because she wants to keep her friends safe. But damn, girl, you need to ease up on the leashes.
Yeah.
If you can.
But they not having it. Like, no, we're going to do what we're going to do. We don't want to live that way. And they walk off into the sunset, and here we go. Next week is the finale.
Where Charlie insists that she cannot save them anymore. I have a question.
What's your question?
So when Mona and Gary restored their memories, does that restore theirs?
No, because they were only controlling the TV show.
Okay. My other question is, because this episode was seriously meta, and that's not how I said it. I kind of just read that from the headline, but it was kind of meta in a sense when I looked it up. How many walls did you think that they broke with this episode? Because people were watching them, on TV, but we were also watching them on TV. We were also watching the citizens of people watching the legends on TV. Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm with you. It really was just us, watching the people watch them. So I'd say the actual TV shows were breaking the wall, and then we were breaking the wall of watching them watch them break the wall. So 2.
2. Okay. I think I accept that. 2 fourth walls have been broken, because at one point when Zarya was like, "Wake up, everyone," it was like she's talking to us, but she's also talking to them.
Mm-hmm. That was all part of the same wall, though. So.
Just 2 side-by-side panes.
Exactly. Like she was telling, like in the TV world, wake up, but also people out there were watching them wake up. So still the same 2 walls.
I can accept that. I live with that. I concur.
Cool. Well, Mara, who's winning this week?
Stargirl? Courtney?
Yeah. I'd give you that, because she put, Brainwave in a coma. So,
She beat her first bad guy.
She did. Who's losing?
The Legends.
Are they losing? Because they got what they wanted.
Their memory back, but I mean, they're still in the shows, right?
No, they canceled all the shows.
Oh, yeah, no. But they're like stuck in like, no. They got out. Never mind.
Yeah, they're in the real world now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not losing because they're out in the real world, but now they're losing because now there's a target on their back by the Fates, which I think it's like God just being like, oh, where is he? Oh, there he is. Zap.
Yeah, they don't have their threads though. Charlie has their threads, so.
I wonder how she got away with that.
Well, she convinced her sister, like, yo, don't kill them. We can just put them in here, and they'll be fine. It was more of just it was a compromise of her working with them.
Well, I wasn't thinking like, I was thinking more broad, like not just their specific looms. I was thinking like the entire thing. I was like, how did they just be like, oh yeah, just give her the entire thing?
No, she just got theirs. Like it's just yeah.
But yeah, I'll just say that I feel like it's only because like I don't really know who else. Well, I mean, Brainwave's losing.
Yeah, he is in a coma.
His brain's pretty much the metaphorical mush that everyone else is eating in Legends.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's gonna be absolutely. Brainwave. Brainwave is the final choice at the loser today.
All right. So when I came back, I heard you talking about where they can find us and all that kind of shit. Did you get through all of it?
Yes. I only got through like, did I say our link for Super Flashy? I think I did. But if I didn't, the group for our Super Flash Arrow tomorrow on Facebook is facebook.com/groups/Super Flash Arrow tomorrow. If you are also an avid wrestling fan, as Sir Cussalott and our other member, Matt
Riddler.
Yes, the Warden Matt Riddler. Thank you, because I almost called him The Rock like 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's not right. That's not right.
That's not right at all. Like, it's not even close.
Like, in my brain, I was like, don't say that. That's not right. That's not right at all. And Johnny Jones, if you're an avid wrestler fan, Sir Cussalott and Matt host Smacking It Raw. They do that every week. They do this all year round, guys. They love you guys this much. They do this all year, especially with the WWE being considered essential during this. But
that's that Vince McMahon money, man.
They have constant conversations going on in their Facebook group, and that group is facebook.com/groups/smacking it raw. There's no G in smacking it. We're doing it the Ebonics way up in this bitch, yo. But occasionally I will be there. It's so rare because I am just newly fresh into wrestling. I know Bella twins. I know Uso brothers, and that's it.
Just
and
Usos.
Trinity.
Just Usos, not
Just
Uso
just
brothers.
Usos, not brothers.
Yeah, it's just Usos. Usos means brothers. It's not
The
brothers.
Usos,
It's just the Usos.
The Usos and Trinity and
Trinity being
Natasha.
Naomi, people. Like on TV, she's Naomi.
It's not my fault that Total Divas has labeled her as Trinity this entire time.
Well, that's her real name. Yes.
I know. Right, and then because her Instagram handle is also Trinity Fatu, so I was just like, sorry.
Yes,
but
that's
anywho,
her real name. But in WWE television, she is Naomi.
Naomi. Okay.
We've been fucking her over lately too, but we'll talk about that another time. But
on Smacking It Raw is where they will talk about it.
Exactly. But yeah, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Creation World. That is at TheCreatia World. Also follow me on both Twitter and Instagram at Sir_Cussalott. That is at SIR_CUSSALOTT. Mara, where can they find you?
Always on Instagram and Twitter at Mara the Shark. That's MARADASHARK. Make sure you're following the Creation Instagram because I've been making TikToks for you fuckers.
Yeah, she's been ticking and talking, y'all. So just hop on that.
Me and Luna are here working for free to entertain y'all. I'm sure there's child labor laws against this, but we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, it should be all right. Let me think.
Don't forget, subscribe to the Patreon. We make bonus material for you on there. You get it a month in advance before other people.
Patreon.com/Creation World. Yeah, hop on that. Different levels of subscription. You get different perks. Hop there.
Different levels of membership, you get different levels of bragging rights.
Yes. Also, don't forget to buy some merch. I'll put the link in the description for the merchandise store.
On Instagram and Twitter. We'll retweet you. We'll repost you. I like retweeting and reposting y'all. It's fun.
Definitely. But all right, man, that's been it for this week's episode of Super Flashy Arrows Tomorrow. We'll catch you next week for the season finale of Legends of Tomorrow and the next episode of Stargirl. We'll catch you then.
You guys are still stuck with us.
Until then, we out.
Bye.